Hello Mundo Enneagram friends, I'm back to talk about the seventh key of Enneagram transformation. I am Uranio Paes and I salute you, a Mundo Enneagram student that's following these keys of Enneagram transformation. So in the last one, the sixth key, I talked about the importance of becoming human before you become spiritual. And I said many things. If you haven't seen the video, please do it, because it's quite important that we work on our psychological issues before we fly higher in the spiritual realms, right? But the seventh key is complementary to this, and it says that after you become human, dare to become spiritual. I am particularly concerned with the fact that nowadays in the Enneagram community worldwide, there are some teachers avoiding to talk and to work with the spiritual dimension of the Enneagram. I deeply respect the teachers that do this because they don't want to scare students, but they do understand and practice for themselves those spiritual dimensions. They consider those and they bring this kind of teaching, at least indirectly, to their students. But my concern is that some teachers, not many, but a few teachers, just ignore this dimension as if it did not exist. And maybe they sometimes make the Enneagram a bit more vulgar, in the sense that it's comparable to a simple, shallow typology, which is very far from what the Enneagram is, not very respectful with the Enneagram origins and everyone that has contributed to either building or guarding the system. But I think that you, Mundo Enneagram student, is open to this idea, and I personally like to talk in a very straightforward way about it. So after we do all the psychological development, we go past what is the presence in our body only. We've talked already in previous keys about being present in the body, being in the body, and being in all three centers of intelligence, and other things that come with the presence experience, like this beautiful, relaxing heaviness of the body, getting grounded and feeling the weight of the body and being calm and relaxed, non-judgmental, accepting of self and of others. But then it doesn't stop there. Presence goes beyond the body, and we expand our sensation of being outside the body, in this beautiful field of energy outside the body, around the body. And this is a field of energy, as I said, but can be also called our morphogenetic field or our morphic field, according to some authors. And also it can be called the bubble. Sometimes we just call it the bubble, or a sphere of energy, because it's useful if we visualize it in one of the Platonic solids formats, which in the simplest one is the sphere of the globe. And by the way, what is the circle on the Enneagram? It is a sphere or a globe. So we're sort of building the whole Enneagram around us and having the body being in the very center of it, in the eye of the hurricane. And in the middle of the labyrinth, up to the point that we reach the external layer, or the outer Enneagram, as Gurdjieff used to call it, of the circle. A layer that can actually be felt as a second skin, a skin of the subtle body, the first subtle body that this field of energy actually is. It's not the aura. It's a little different than the aura. It's just a field of expansion of energy, and it has all the potential for all I can become. It actually has all my soul's history in terms of all I have ever been, all I am, and all that I can be one day. It's a field of possibilities that also brings structure to my spiritual experiences so that they do not get chaotic. And this field of energy is very nice to feel. And the air that we get in touch with when we are feeling that is what Gurdjieff used to call hydrogen 24, that evolves later to hydrogen 12. Hydrogen 24 feels like not gas. The air becomes this sensation of a first level prana, like the Hindus call it. And it's like olive oil, extra virgin, or honey. And it feels like it touches your skin with a lot of care and gentleness and love. And we feel it in a very nice way. So try to feel it and try to visualize this field of energy around you. What is that? It's a first level of a spiritual experience. And it relates to also the expansion of energy. So it's the transpersonal experience itself. And we become much more sensitive to whatever is happening outside us. And therefore, as we are learning how to be with ourselves, not only in our bodies, but outside, we learn the secrets of being able to be completely with ourselves while we are completely with others too. How is it to be completely with another or with others, but still be completely with yourself? So another way to think of this is presence plus ambience. So I'm present, but I have all the feeling of the ambience around me. Isn't it beautiful? So then what happens is that our spiritual heart pops up. It's like coming from this heart inside the chest, in the left-hand side of it, and then there's a pressure in the middle of the chest. Try to sense it, and poof. And then the spiritual heart is connected again. It has always been there, but we were not aware of it, and we didn't have enough energy, and our soul was not completely connected to us. The higher emotional center starts to be open. The thing that exists only potentially for most people, the vast majority of people, comes back to your field of awareness. And this is your spiritual heart, which is actually not yours. There is nothing that's yours or mine in this level of dimension, this experience. It's just a reflex of the universal heart or God's heart. So it's an antenna that captures whatever is a higher kind of emotion that's inspired by God, or taught by God, or wished by God. So we then start to feel and hopefully to communicate and vibrate to the whole world around us, and even the world distant, geographically distant from us. We start to vibrate in superior emotions, like gratitude, like goodness, like feeling a lot of generosity, and all possible good emotions. We also have a much better window of opportunity when we are in this state to forgive people. And we need to work actively on all those pieces of higher emotional manifestations when we are on this first state. And it's purely spiritual, it's transpersonal. So this is why this key is called become spiritual after you become a human being, right? We are actually entering here the dimension of the angelic soul, because although we are humans right now, we are not only humans. We can connect to a whole dimension of self as being connected to angels. And we are in here, but we are not from here. Huh? So we need to keep this in mind and allow for expansion and spiritual experiences. And these spiritual experiences will make us experience ourselves and the world as being almost opposite to what we believe they were. So we open up the virtues of our Enneagram type when we open up the spiritual heart. So when this heart pops up out of the chest, you may want to visualize it as a sphere of energy. And it's good to visualize it as having a radiant, shiny, sparkling yellow color. This is what Sufis talk about, and they call this spiritual heart the Kaub. And in here, try to visualize it, this ball of energy, as having more or less this distance from your chest, and as being the size of something in between a golf ball and a tennis ball. Sometimes it gets expanded further, sometimes it goes more away from you, but it's good to visualize it this way. And then try to feel that inside this ball of energy you have the virtue of your Enneagram type. And the virtue is actually coming down to you from God and taking care of yourself. It's actually the experience of your soul reconnecting to you, because now you are pure enough to allow this very fragile thing and sensitive thing, the soul, to reconnect back to you. And it's the awakening of your heart that's not sick anymore. So the idea here is that you allow this to be the way in to the virtues that will then take care of the rest of yourself. And the virtues, as you may know, are for type 1 serenity, for type 2 humility, type 3 veracity, type 4 equanimity, type 5 non-attachment, type 6 courage, type 7 sobriety, type 8 innocence, and type 9 right action. These are the 9 virtues. And we have materials here on Mundo Enneagram talking about each of them. Go to the session that we talk about each of the 9 types to learn more about that. So when that happens, you're sensing more fully the spiritual heart. And if you want to retain a bit longer this experience, because up to here we are in the unstable stages of development and we can lose it very, very quickly, then you need to practice service to the others. You also need to sense the air as being hydrogen 24 with that olive oil sensation or honey sensation. And you need to pray more, to meditate more, to enhance your discipline. And also allow not only to feel this inner peace, but also to feel the existential fear of what's coming after that, which is a bigger, deeper degree of disidentification or deconstruction of ego. That will happen between points 4 and 5 on the Enneagram mandala, in the dark night of the soul. So get prepared, don't refuse it, ask for help, don't be alone, get yourself a good group, spiritual group to support you, good teachers, and be open in dreams to messages that come to you by then. You will be contacted, starting to be contacted by higher forms of presence by then. And it usually starts in dreams, but then can come up to you in insights when you are awake too. But we'll talk more about all this later. It's important to know that the spiritual experiences do not end in this. And they later, when we activate not only, or reactivate not only the higher emotional center, but also the higher mental center, we get in touch with other sorts of spiritual experiences, including the mystical union, which is a fusion with whoever or whatever is in front of you. It uses all possible sexual energy to practice the merging with the other, with all centers open and with all being. So you become one in a non-dual experience. And this happens in the higher mental center, okay? But we'll talk more and more with time here on Mundo Enneagramma about that. But just know this: if you want to do serious, sound Enneagram work and inner work, you need to dare to become spiritual after you become human. The Enneagram is not only a tool to produce well-being or psychological functionality or something that will make us live this life here in this world in a better way, in a healthier way. It helps us to do that, but it's not for this that the Enneagram has been discovered. It has been discovered so that we can reach these spiritual realms, and the Enneagram serves us as a map of raising awareness beyond the psychological realm. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I would be really willing to listen to comments from you. Please write emails to us. While we still don't have tools here on Mundo Enneagramma for comments and forums, we will soon, I promise you, as soon as the project grows a bit more. But write us about your own experiences and how you perceive these videos on the keys of Enneagram transformation. Thank you for watching. Bye. Bye.